Okay, so we are live in both Zoom as well as YouTube. Whenever you are ready, you can start the session. We have about 100 plus attendees already joined and more are connecting in Zoom. And same with YouTube.
Good evening everyone. So should we wait for a couple of minutes? Since we can see that many more participants are joining in. Let us allow.
Sure, we can wait a couple of minutes and.
I think we can wait. As we open the link only now for YouTube.
You should stop sharing. Good evening, dear friends. A warm welcome to all of you. A very heartful welcome to all of you on behalf of the Heartfulness Education Trust to the second session of the first virtual national conference. The topic is Values Today, Civilization Tomorrow. Good evening and a very warm welcome to our esteemed guests. I feel greatly honored to welcome the keynote speaker, Ms. Taran Daly, and our panelists, Mrs. Nirmala Sundaram, Mrs. Smita Kshirsagar, and Mrs. Kajal Chatija. Good evening to everyone. I would also like to welcome Mrs. Anju Srivastava and Mrs. Disha Joshi, who will be presenting their research papers today. Welcome, sisters. Heartfelt gratitude to all of you for accepting our invitation and joining us for this conference. A very warm welcome to our amazing audience and the whole team of Heartfulness volunteers. It's such a pleasure to see. I can see the participants here. They all have joined in large numbers and it's increasing. So thank you so much for joining us here. May each one of us connecting here benefit from the highly knowledgeable guests present. Yes, dear friends, let me share with you a little about heartfulness. So we at Heartfulness would like to tell you that heartfulness is spread across the world in almost 140 countries, and it's a heart-based meditation. There are 3 techniques, very simple techniques. There are total number of practitioners are 20 lakh all across the world, and the number of certified heartfulness trainers are 10,000. We have 5,000 centers, hotspot centers, and there are almost 250 ashrams all across the world. Yes. So we have a very beautiful meditation center, international meditation center in Hyderabad, the Kanha Shantivanam. And it's a wonderful place where everyone across the world is welcome to visit and experience this place. Since we have a mixed audience here, many of you must be regular heartfulness practitioners, but some of you must have experienced heartfulness meditation today morning for the first time. And I'm sure it was a wonderful experience for everyone. And dear audience, to make a session interesting, it is required that it should be interactive. So let me guide you about the ways in which we'll be interacting with each other today. One is the chat box, in which you can type your remarks, feedback, as well as appreciation for whatever you will be listening to, and your feedback. The other one is the Menti questions. So those who were there in the morning and have already downloaded the app, you can directly respond to the questions that will be displayed on the screen. And those who don't have the Menti app, I would request you to go to your browser and type www.menti.com. So let us have an ice-breaking session with a Menti question coming up. So here, dear audience, is my first Menti question to all of you. Please open at www.menti.com, open to the browser and type www.menti.com and enter the code. You can see the code, it is visible on your screens. I will repeat the code, it is 2192713. I repeat it again, the code is 2192713. And the question is, how do you feel? How did you feel after the meditation experience this morning? Many of you must have experienced it for the first time. For many of us, it was a wonderful and profound experience. So please type your responses in the box that appears. Enter the code. Yes, there are very interesting and wonderful answers, responses coming up. Very light and peaceful. Gratitude, that's wonderful. I'm sure we all feel that. Peaceful, calm, observant. Wonderful, that's a very nice one. It's really important to be aware and observing. Fresh, rejuvenating. These are amazing and very nice answers that we are getting here. And we are grateful to you for sharing them. Yes, that's nice. And like Dr. Elizabeth said in the morning, maybe some of you must have felt an overwhelming, thoughts coming to the mind. Even that is fine. Wonderful experience, very calm. Thank you, audience. Those are wonderful responses from your side. Rejuvenating again, relaxed. We all need it nowadays. There's so much stress, so we need to de-stress, be relaxed to the core. Yes, wonderful. Any response is a perfect response, and you all have really poured your hearts into your responses. Those are truly wonderful responses coming up on the screen that many of you have had, we are sure, a profound and deep experience during meditation. That is how heartfulness meditation touches our core and leads us to a feeling of stillness, peace, calm. Thank you, audience. Thank you so much. You all have been wonderful. Thank you. Now, let us take a peep into our topic for today. The topic is the role of a school teacher. The role of a school teacher. These are 6 simple words put together. But when we take a closer feel of this topic, we realize that everything and anything that is being planned by anyone and everyone around in the field of education, everything revolves around this role that a school teacher plays. A teacher is the one who takes ahead and actually brings into reality the ideas that take shape in the great minds of passionate and experienced leaders in the field of education. So, with a salute, a very heartfelt felt salute to all the teachers from each and every corner of the world. Let us move ahead and welcome our keynote speaker, Taran ma'am. Taran ma'am, it's an honor to have you here with us today, and I take the privilege of introducing you. Taran ma'am has been an occupational therapist for over 30 years, working with parents, with teachers in Scotland, rural Northern California, and Kana Shantivanam. She has been struck by the wisdom, gifts, and also challenges of the children she has worked with in recent years. She calls them the new children, such a wonderful term. Tarrant ma'am has also been a certified trainer in Heartfulness and has been working with children, parents, and teachers. She was a founding member of the Scottish Parliament cross-party group on peace education and delivered peace education modules to students in Scottish schools, including schools in disadvantaged areas. He has conducted giraffe clubs in California schools as well as a summer giraffe camp to train children aged 3 to 8 in non-violent communication. Charan ma'am, thank you so much for joining us here today. We are truly grateful. So over to Taran ma'am. We are waiting to hear from you.
Well, thank you so much, Lakshmi. I'm going to take just a minute to get my slideshow up.
I would like to tell my dear friends in the audience here that Taran ma'am is joining us from the USA, and so you're most welcome, Taran ma'am.
Thank you. Yes, I am. It's
over to you.
It's early morning, and I'm sorry. My technical skills are not that great, but I think we're ready to go here. So I just want to say, first of all, how very honored I am to be here with all of you, especially since I'm talking to a group of amazing educators in India, and I'm speaking about the topic of the role of a school teacher. While I myself am not from India and I'm not a teacher, but as an occupational therapist, I've worked with many teachers and students for many years in the US, in Scotland, and in India. Often I'm working with the teacher's toughest students. That's given me a unique window into the daily life of teachers as they undertake to deliver curriculum while also managing classrooms of increasingly difficult students and endeavoring to meet each student's social, emotional, and academic needs. I've sat in a lot of classrooms as a supportive observer, and I've seen the incredible resilience and perseverance of teachers as they do their best to meet the challenges of the classroom day after day. I've also too often seen teachers become tired, frustrated, and sometimes burned out. I can't help but think that it's time for a major change. And much of this change may be a new way of seeing the role of a teacher. In the past, the teacher's job has been to sit at the front of the classroom and deliver knowledge, primarily through lectures, while maintaining some degree of order in the classroom. Values didn't much come into the picture. The student's job was to sit quietly, absorb the knowledge delivered, and feed it back on quizzes and tests. This model of teaching, it's just not working so well anymore. The world is changing. We have big problems to deal with. Global warming, floods, fires, droughts and famines, pandemics, social unrest, economic turbulence, terrorism, and a growing disparity between the rich and the poor. Many of these problems have come about through human greed, anger, and inability or even unwillingness to embrace values like generosity, respect, moderation, peacefulness, and self-control. A rebirth of values seems imperative if our civilization is to survive. If indeed we can call our current social situation civilization. Today is Gandhiji's birthday, and I can't help but be reminded of the famous but probably apocryphal story of Gandhi arriving in London and being asked by a reporter, "Well, what do you think of Western civilization?" Gandhi is said to have shot back the reply, "I think it would be a good idea." And I have to agree, it would be a good idea. And actually, it would be a good idea for the whole world. Humanity has to learn to embody values if civilization is to survive. Knowledge alone will not solve our dilemmas. This generation coming up has to be ready to confront our seemingly insoluble problems with insight, intuition, imagination, compassion, and creativity. They'll need the ability to draw from many different fields of knowledge to create revolutionary solutions to real-world problems. The old knowledge in, knowledge out model just doesn't nurture all that's needed now. The government of India has recognized this in developing its extraordinary National Education Policy 2020. In the introduction to this document, the authors say, indeed, with a quickly changing global ecosystem, it is becoming increasingly critical that children not only learn, but more importantly, learn how to learn. Education, thus, must move less toward content and more toward learning about how to think critically and solve problems, how to be creative and multidisciplinary, and how to innovate, adapt, and absorb new material in novel and changing fields. Pedagogy must evolve to make education more experiential, holistic, integrated, inquiry-driven, discovery-oriented, learner-centered, discussion-based, flexible, and of course, enjoyable. The curriculum must include basic arts, crafts, humanities, games, sports and fitness, languages, literature, culture, and values, in addition to science and mathematics, to develop all aspects and capabilities of learners and make education more well-rounded, useful, and fulfilling to the learner. Education must build character, enable learners to be ethical, rational, compassionate, and caring, while at the same time preparing them for gainful, fulfilling employment. That is quite a statement. It's inspiring, but it also presents educators with many questions about the role of teachers and the structure of education. How exactly do we teach children to think critically, to be creative and multidisciplinary, to innovate and adapt? And what does experiential, holistic, discovery-oriented, learner-centered, discussion-based, flexible, and enjoyable learning actually look like? Many schools and teachers are already experimenting with answers to these questions, trying new formats and approaches to teaching and learning. Project-based learning, student-led instruction, teaching through games, movement, journaling, or art, learning through real-life activities outside the walls of the school, and so on. This is new territory, and fortunately or unfortunately, there are no formulas to go on. Educators must call on those same abilities we're hoping to instill in our students: imagination, intuition, empathy, problem solving, and creativity. Forging ahead like this into the unknown can be confusing and sometimes overwhelming, but it can also be inspiring, exciting, and fun. Not only is our world changing, but our students are also changing. They just don't seem to be into sitting quietly in neat rows and absorbing knowledge. Have you noticed that? I don't think they're quite as bad as the slideshows, but I've seen a tendency that direction. Actually, they may be hungrier than ever for knowledge, but they absorb it better through doing than through sitting and listening. They learn best from adults who will join them in their interests and explorations. I call these children we're encountering these days the new children, and they are a unique breed. Look at this little girl. Isn't she wonderful? What a free spirit under her umbrella. These children are often wise beyond their years, confident, passionate, and gifted in many ways. But they can also be challenging to teachers and parents because they don't fit well into our accustomed ways of teaching and parenting. They have very strong minds of their own. And if we expect them to be simply compliant and do what we say, they can also be stubborn, hot-tempered, disruptive, over-talkative, restless, or dreamy and in a world of their own. But consider that these children have been born into very difficult times. They may need their fiery inner determination to meet the extreme challenges our world is facing. Their talkativeness might be needed to form strong interpersonal bonds for working together to solve problems. Their restlessness may reflect their need to think and move fast just to keep up with the pace of change. And it may be through their dreaminess that they find new visions for the future. To all appearances, humanity looks like it could be heading toward disintegration and chaos. But our young ones just might be able to tip the scales and lead us instead into a new and beautiful way of being human. This potential makes the role of the school teacher and other educators very important. We, along with their parents, are responsible for preparing these children to successfully meet the amazing and almost insurmountable challenges that they will face. Like all young ones, our new children need guidance, structure, and boundaries. But they also need respect, connection, choice, affirmation, and inspiration, almost like they need air and water in measures far larger than most children have needed in the past. Neuroscientists are telling us that truly embodied learning, as opposed to rote learning, is most likely to occur in the context of safe, caring relationships. For best learning then, teachers will need to build strong relationships with their students by understanding and addressing their most dearly held needs. And this will undoubtedly impact the roles that teachers play. Some of the needs I've found to be most important to the children I've worked with in recent years include the following. Respect. I feel respected when I'm listened to and my feelings, needs, and point of view are valued, when they're understood and when they're taken into account. I'm guessing that our children yearn for these same things. Teachers may need to listen to their students more deeply than ever before and demonstrate that they understand their students' perspectives, feelings, and needs, and are willing to consider them in the daily life of the classroom. Connection. Can you feel when someone has tuned out and is not there present with you anymore? If you're talking to someone and suddenly you just sense that they're not there. I think our children feel this too, when we tune out and we're not quite there. To be connected with our children, we need to be truly present with them, meeting them where they are rather than where we think they should be. Being really alive to what's needed in each moment in order to guide them in the directions we'd like them to go. This kind of presence requires the teacher's energy and focus, but it pays off. Connection may seem more difficult in our present circumstances with online classes or in-person classes while wearing masks and maintaining social distance. But many teachers are finding that connection does happen even across obstacles and distances when we make a genuine commitment to be heartfully present with our students. Choice. These new children want to have choice about what they do and what happens to them. That's not always possible, but life flows much more smoothly when the children can have a say in decisions that affect them. In a classroom, this could mean students working together with a teacher to formulate rules and consequences, or having choice in how they learn and what they learn. When students have choice, they feel ownership and are more likely to engage enthusiastically. Affirmation. In a busy classroom, teachers can easily fall into correcting students considerably more often than expressing appreciation for them. This is human. Our brains are wired to see what's wrong more than what is going well, because as we humans evolved, we had to be very alert to dangers in order to survive. Because our new children can be challenging, they often receive a lot of correction. And when this is not balanced with even more affirmation or appreciation, they can come to have a negative picture of themselves as someone who always does things wrong. And of course, once they have this picture of themselves, they're more likely to do the same things wrong in the future. It's possible to reverse this negative spiral by being clear with students about what we do want rather than what we don't want. Training ourselves to notice when students take even small steps in the desired direction and celebrating each step with them along the way. Teachers are finding all kinds of creative ways to affirm and encourage their students. One teacher I know makes extensive notes about the characteristics she enjoys in each student and shares those on a regular basis. Another teacher has assigned each student a special day when the class learns about them and celebrates their unique and wonderful qualities. A third teacher holds weekly appreciation circles when students have the opportunity to express appreciation to each other. I'm sure many of you have your own practices that you use to encourage and affirm your students. Inspiration. The new children can be inspired learners. Sometimes teachers can inspire them by teaching subjects the teacher is passionate about. And sometimes the teacher can inspire by following the student into areas the student is passionate about, joining them in the excitement of learning about new things. Some of the best learning can occur when the teacher is a joyful co-learner with the student. Many teachers are already in the process of exploring new ways of interacting with their students. They're bonding with their students in more heartful and connected ways, getting to know each student's history, interests, and learning styles. Teachers are experimenting with new roles. Focused role models. Teachers have always been role models, but it's more important than ever to consciously work on living the values we'd like to see in our students, actually living them. You know, students learn more by what they see around them than what they sense from us than by anything we can tell them. Explorers and innovators who are willing to experiment and try new things until they find what works. Team leaders who are open to making changes based on the needs and preferences of their classroom team. Project managers who facilitate students in designing and carrying out projects that are meaningful to them. Co-learners who take joy in learning along with their students. And caring guides who notice and celebrate the best in each student. I'm sure that a lot of people that are listening now have have been trying many of these kinds of things. And I would love for us all to be able to share and learn from each other as we experiment with our new roles. I'd like to invite you, if you'd be interested, to post your experiences with these new formats or styles of teaching on the Living with the New Children Facebook page. And that's a place we can all look and see what other people are doing, get ideas, and share and grow all along together. So I'd invite you to post there and describe what you've tried and how it worked. And if it hasn't worked, that's good information too. Let us know that. Then it will help us maybe try something different in the future. I wish us all a joyful journey as we explore new horizons to prepare our students with the knowledge, skills, and values they need to create the civilization we all long for. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Karen ma'am, for these inspiring ideas that you have put forth, and the way wonderfully you have brought up the strong needs of our new children, the new generation, and of course, like you said, being present for them. I feel everything will flow in. Once I'm present with the children as a teacher, everything will flow in. So beautifully you have said that. And to match up with the needs of these learners, these little learners, how a teacher needs to. It was very, very nice. Thank you so much, Darren ma'am, for sharing these deep insights. And we are really touched with the sensitivity and at the same time the passion that you have reviewed all the aspects of this role of the school teacher. Thank you, ma'am. Now, over to the audience. Dear audience, you have been listening. We all have been keenly listening to these ideas shared by Tarun ma'am with us. If anyone has any feedback, any remark, any question that you want to ask her, you could type in the chat box. We will be looking into the chat box and directing them towards her. Yes, we have some very nice comments coming up in the chats. They are all very thanking Tarun ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for this great information, for the very interesting and inspiring ideas that you have shared. Very inspiring, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, Tarun sister, somebody is saying, Tarun ma'am, could you please share the last slide with us once again?
The last slide. Let's see.
Yes. The one with the, is it the teachers?
Oh, the one with the roles.
Yes, yes, I guess.
Okay, let me get this one up and we'll go back to it. Oops. Where is it? Okay, let me try that again. By the way, there will be a conference publication and the whole talk will be in that. But I'm sorry, I'm really not the best at this. Let me stop sharing again and see if I can get it up.
That's okay, ma'am.
Okay, here we go. Wait a minute, here we go, I think. Okay, back to Zoom and we share screen. Okay, you just did it. Did that come up?
The slide or
did we do it? Is it on? Oh, it came to the whole new. Okay, hold on. You get a review of the whole thing here. There we go. Sorry that took so long.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing.
Okay, is that enough? People got it? Take a screenshot. Okay.
Thanks for suggesting. Thank you. There's another question, ma'am. You. how maths and science teachers can connect to students as syllabus is lengthy. How all idealistic concepts can be included during teaching. Do you want me to repeat it, ma'am?
No, I
There's a
think I
question.
got the idea. I think it's speaking to how hard it is to both deliver curriculum in a way that is going to be adequate, and also to be conveying all of these values and connecting to the students. And I think a lot of it is this idea of being a role model, of living the things that you would like the students to do. And you can connect no matter what you're talking about. You can have a sense of a heart-to-heart connection. And the students will feel that, and they'll absorb the material much more readily if they can feel that you are really there with them as you talk to them and lead them into these new areas. And if you're excited about what you're teaching, they will sense that too. So I think it's not like here you teach and here you're connecting. It's like all one thing. You teach in a connected way. You don't teach, well, it's not, of course it's valuable to have value education classes, but also the teacher is teaching values every minute of the day in the way she is, in the way she interacts with the students. I hope that helps.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your response. Yes. Thank you, audience. I hope your queries have been answered. Thank you so much. Yes, okay, we have one more question here. Ma'am, please share some tips to face the present challenge during this pandemic.
To
So,
face the present,
please share some tips. The present pandemic situation that we are facing. Please share some tips how to handle. Yes.
Yes. Well, I think the students will get a lot if we can find a place inside ourselves of strength and calm in the midst of not just the pandemic, but all the storms that are going on right now. And this is where meditation helps, because meditation can give you that connection to your inner core, your inner self, your inner source, that does give you the strength and the calm to be there and face whatever is going on around you. And I think if teachers can have that feeling, the children will sense it, or the students will sense it. And you'll be giving them strength as you just are there interacting with them. I think that's the biggest gift we can give them right now.
Very rightly said, like even in your address, you had said that whatever the situation, we don't have control on the situation, but we do have control on our inner core, which we are connected, nothing can move us. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am, for reaching out to our audience and giving your valuable inputs. It's been really amazing interacting with you, and your views have truly enriched our minds and hearts. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now, let's move on to the paper presentations that we have today. Dear audience, I would like to inform you here that we will be having the question answer session after both the presentations. We have two presenters. One is Ms. Disha Joshi, and after that, Mrs. Sanju Srivastava will be presenting. So whatever comes to your mind while you are listening, if you could just put your questions in the chat box with the name of the presenter in brackets, we will sort out the questions and then direct them towards the presenters. So that's a request to the audience that we will have the question answer session after both the presentations. Thank you, audience. Yes, so now let's move on, and may I welcome Ms. Disha Joshi. Ms. Disha Joshi, she is pursuing her master's in philosophy. She's a young student of today's generation who reminds us that yes, today's values do create roots for the tomorrow. She will be presenting her research paper on the topic Influence of a Teacher for Holistic Education in Schools, a very deep topic. This research paper has been co-authored by Ms. Sneha Hattangadi, Mrs. Sunita Samdani, Mrs. Disha Joshi, They all are here with us today. Welcome all of you. And Dr. Mohandas Hegde, who is the director of the Heartfulness Research Center at Mysuru. And all these are research scholars. So a heartful welcome to all of you. So may I please invite Disha ma'am to present her paper. Over to Disha ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am, for the wonderful introduction. I'll just share my screen.
Welcome, welcome. You all are keenly waiting to listen to you.
Yeah, so is my screen visible, ma'am?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay. Namaste, respected panel members. Hearty pranams to all of you. Namaste, respected audience present over here. As already introduced by Lakshmi sister, I'm Disha from Heartfulness Research Center, along with Mrs. Sunita and Ms. Neha, the co-authors, including the director of Heartfulness Research Center, Dr. Mohandas Hegde. The topic for today's presentation is Influence of a Teacher for Holistic Education in Schools. So in this presentation, I'll be covering the following topics, including the role and impact of teachers, bringing to you the concept of holistic education and how the qualities of teachers and their connection with the students fosters a conducive environment for holistic growth. We will also have a glimpse back into the ancient treasure of India, the Gurukul system, to truly facilitate the result of holistic development. We will also have a look on some practical strategies. Teachers make a direct impact on the future of any society by molding the next generation, that is, the students. They are the pillars of the foundation of education system, the backbone of a society. The quality of education provided to young minds has a direct impact on the quality of mankind in any society. Therefore, the role of a teacher is of utmost importance. In the present times, the seeds of dynamic transformation are being planted in the education system. With the revolutions in technology and changing circumstances, there comes the need to redesign the role of the teachers. Students are continually evolving, and so are the learning needs, as very rightly mentioned by Taryn ma'am. Looking at the challenges faced by them, young minds nowadays get very easily succumbed to health hazards like addiction to digital gadgets, mental depression, drug addiction, alcohol consumption, and more such antisocial behaviors. So, with such problems, it becomes the moral duty of the teachers to infuse within them the required spiritual and moral values, principles, and willpower that can help internally strengthen them to keep away from such life ruining temptations and live a life with the way of the heart. Teachers are equally facing challenges in the present times, proving teaching to be a noble yet a very demanding profession. Life is very stressful nowadays. So the present generic approach is not yielding results. So when we talk about building a connection with the students, that is where the holistic and spiritual approach can help. Adapting to the latest technology is also difficult. So for that, a very much and supervised approach is essential. In the conventional education system, the minds are well trained, but the application of heart is sadly missing. As quoted by Aristotle, educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. This brings us to the topic holistic education. The holistic approach to education provides the teachers an opportunity to fulfill the evolving needs of the modern education system by harnessing students' self development and bringing about transformation in the individual mind's heart and character. Holistic education is a relatively new movement in education that seeks to engage all the aspects of the learner, including the mind, body, and spirit. Although the physical, emotional, intellectual, and social aspects are highly emphasized in present times, but the most significant aspect, that is, of spirituality, is missing. which can be fulfilled by inculcating the spiritual values and techniques in the curriculum and the education system. Holistic education aims at both the external knowledge, which is knowledge of the world, including the physical context, the design and structure of an institution. It also includes and aims at the internal knowledge, which is knowledge of the self, which includes the spiritual context, multiple learning, and teaching styles. Such approach to learning helps face major challenges in life of the present era that is overwhelmed with competition and survival. And it fosters their growth to achieve excellence in both their academic as well as personal lives. For holistic growth, preparing a conducive classroom environment is very necessary. So let us understand this concept with the help of a metaphor of a seed. Suppose we try to break open an apple seed. We will find nothing in it. However, in reality, therein lies the hidden potential of a whole tree, including thousands of apples, which a single seed is alone capable of producing. The duty of a gardener is not to tell the seed how to become an apple tree, but instead to provide to it the right conditions, good soil, water, sunshine, and significantly nurture it with love. When the right conditions or environment is provided to the seed, it is natural for it to grow and develop to its utmost potential. Just like every seed has immense potential, so does each student is unique and carries a treasure of hidden potential. It is the teacher who creates the right environment and helps the students recognize their uniqueness and capacity. As often quoted by Swami Vivekananda, education is the manifestation of the perfection already in man. We can relate this concept with very beautifully illustrated by Dr. Elizabeth Denley in the morning session when she uh, mentioned the story of the village boy and the teacher, how that teacher impacted the child, how beautifully the teacher was, successful in bringing out the uniqueness and the qualities of the child, how she was able to connect with the child and establish a lifelong impact in his life. So by this, we can understand that the key behind a well-prepared environment is crucially the teacher. The hope for the teacher is that a conducive environment or a joyful atmosphere is created so that each student naturally feels self-motivated and self-driven and develops an intrinsic love for learning. But for that, the attitude of the teacher matters the most. The qualities, mental and physical well-being of teachers is also counted. The inner condition of the teacher should be such that the students naturally develop this love for learning in them. The condition should be such that the love and concern for students emerges naturally from within the heart of the teacher, which is very much possible through a heart-centered approach. For example, if we experience, just like we experienced heartfulness relaxation in the morning, okay, we can imagine that if a teacher starts the class with heartfulness relaxation, and we can feel that at the same time, all together, the teacher as well as the students will be experiencing a relaxed state of environment, a poised state. So this creates an egregore effect. Such joyful atmosphere is a natural outcome of it then. So teachers must naturally be able to bring out her inner feelings as a result of the heart-centered or heartful approach, leading to a joyful atmosphere and that intrinsic love for learning in the students. Interestingly, when we have a glimpse back to the ancient education system of India, the Gurukul system, we find that the conducive environment for holistic growth, the right attitude of teachers, ideal guru-disciple relationship everything was prevalent at that time. Students were to live with the guru in a natural environment, from duty, devotion, character formation, learning the basic course to economics, archery, justice, and several such areas of studies were covered at that time. Our great spiritual gurus have explained the concept of drawing the knowledge from within. The approach was inside out rather than outside in. So, Gurukul used this concept and has got the potential to let students develop this way of learning from within, at the same time, remaining connected to the spiritual roots. Modern education does the opposite. Due to that, there is frustration, boredom sets in, aversion comes, and students lose their interest, and finally they end up with stress. Just like the photo we saw in Charan Ma'am's presentation. So education has to become more joy-centered rather than stressful. Students should feel like coming to the school every day. And if we say in present times, they should feel like attending the classes every day happily and joyfully. Coming to the practical strategies, spirituality provides an opportunity to deal with difficulties in life. It supports one to remain connected to the inner self while maintaining a peaceful and a balanced state of mind. The practices of heartfulness can help the teachers to live the life with the way of the heart. The four core practices, as we saw in the morning session, namely relaxation, meditation, rejuvenation, and inner connect or connecting with the self. Also, there are the graded set of 5 courses as a part of the heart program under the HET, namely inspire, integrate, intensify, include, and involve. All of these can become aid and act as a support system and add value to the holistic growth and development of the students as well as the teachers. A heartful teacher, we can see, becomes the outcome of such programs. A heartful teacher who can create with her efficiency through the School Connect programs, through heart programs, or through the practices of heartfulness, a relaxed state of environment, who can be a catalyst for change, a good listener, an effective delegator having the subtlest approach, an effective communicator practicing the heartful communication. So, with such heart-based approach, she will be able to manifest what she is from inside, and also she'll be able to reflect the same in the heart of the students. As rightly said by Charan ma'am again, that if the teacher is heartfully present, then distance does not make any difference. So I'd like to conclude my presentation. Here in our paper, we are talking about the teacher-centered approach to holistic education. Because whatever the curriculum or the teaching style or the learning methodology may be, at the end, it comes down to the teacher. Through the training programs, S-Connect or respected any spiritual programs or heartfulness programs, where importance is given to teachers' holistic approach can bring about change that we require. And this is how we can help transform the future generation. And we can expect the future generation to be spiritually oriented, leading a joyful lifestyle. And as rightly said in the morning session by Sister Anjali, values that we instill today will determine the civilization we are tomorrow. So thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you, respected panel members, and thank you, dear audience.
Thank you. Thank you, Disha ma'am. That was a wonderful presentation. Yes. And the way you have really poured your heart into your research and your studies, it has, I'm sure, touched and greatly influenced all the minds and hearts listening to you today. Yes. And thank you so much for touching upon the heartful approach, the heart centered approach, how the joy and the happiness and the love that a teacher should create in the class. And that is what will make the classroom joyous and happy and open up the minds of our little children, our learners. Thank you so much. And also, thank you for reminding us the very impactful and apt quote by the great philosopher Aristotle, that educating the minds without educating the hearts is no education at all. Very true. And this actually brings us to the topic of our next presentation by Mrs. Anju Srivastava. She's an educationist and a heartfulness meditation trainer. She has been a teacher and the principal of many schools, has conducted various teacher training, parent orientation, and child development programs. Her research topic is parent-teacher partnership for raising a sensitive, compassionate generation. Very important and need of the hour topic. It is truly said that education begins from home, right from the moment a child is born, and educating the heart begins right there. So, may I invite Anju ma'am to please start her presentation. Over to Anju ma'am. You may start.
Uh, Thank you, Lakshmi sister, for nice words. Good evening, everyone present here. And let me start with my presentation. Is it okay? Are you able to see my presentation now?
Yes, yes, Anju ma'am. We are able to see.
Thank you, everyone. So actually, this is all my personal experiences, which I'm going to share with this opportunity to present here. And I was just thinking while I was listening that all my co-speakers actually shared few points already, which is very close to my heart. And maybe it is going to be repeated in my paper also. So it's good to repeat good things again and again. So let us welcome with open hearts. So uh, my experience as a teacher and as a mother is the real source of encouragement to share my views on this perspective. Let us see first that how much a teacher and a parent is responsible to develop a child in right direction with correct thinking and honest approach. And what are the tools we have in our hands to complete our vision for a better, heartful, and compassionate world tomorrow. This is our concern, and this is my topic also. So let us explore a little. A child has the idea of wonder. As it grows, the child starts to grasp information or rather thought patterns from his surroundings. The first exposure of a child to the outer world is at the gateway of a school. Here starts a journey of contemplation and assessment. Here I would like to remind you the letter written by Abraham Lincoln to his son's teacher. I think most of us have gone through that, but it is worth to read again and again how much concern he has for his son, and he's asking for all the support, all the guidance from his teachers, and in a sense he's worried also. My son is going out in this world, and how he's going to deal with this world. This is the concern where he is writing the letter to his son's teacher. So the child naturally weighs the relation of his parents with outer world. Accordingly, the child starts to form his own thought patterns and behavior. Generally, a 4-year child can easily guess the nature of relation between two people. So we see the first relation where the child development is the common agenda is that of a teacher and parent. He used to analyze very well how my parent and teacher are going to communicate with each other. How is this relation? And when this relation is symbiotic, it will definitely lead to harmony and love in all their lives. The child slowly cements the values he receives by this relationship. So the child is the result of this beautiful relationship of parent and teacher. That to strengthen the bond of this relation, let me share a few points that needs to be understood by both parents and teachers in the welfare of children. The points are common because we both actually interested in development of a child. So the agenda is common. So the points also we are going to share that is common to both. The very important aspect for a parent as well as teacher is to become real inspiration for their children. We try to give the good training and teaching, but most of the time we forget to look at ourselves. Always we must have a need to check, are we growing day by day? Are we becoming more loving, compassionate, and satisfied in our lives? Do we always have reasons to fight for something? Do we have a long list of blames and expectations for everyone? Then very sorry, our entire training and teaching will be wasted because children will learn automatically what we perform actually in our lives. So many exercises we do in the schools where we just ask the children to do whatever I am doing and say something else. And definitely we see the result very fast that they do whatever they look, don't listen. So listening is the next quality. So before coming on this point, that what knowledge we must share with children, let us focus again on ourselves. What is true knowledge for us to understand? What are the ways to get this knowledge? What tools and techniques we are adopting to gain knowledge? Most of the time we just look outside and we collect all the information from our surroundings. That is valuable, that is needed. But in my views, the very valuable knowledge for life is received by research on our own conscience. Heart and brain needs to be disciplined, harmonized and synchronized for better results in life. Focused mind always helps to manage outer world beautifully. It is important to be truthful to ourselves. As teachers and parents, we need to pass on this true knowledge to children. We may provide some basics, understanding of values, and the children will grow on that foundation when they move ahead in life. So this is our responsibility basically to just create a good interest for the true knowledge, what is there inside us. We are not aware of our own word or inner side, and we just talk about the word concern. So here is the time we have to look at ourselves always. Very beautiful quote is here. Knowledge is not an end in itself, merely a means to an end. Often we repeat that change is the only constant. We elders play very important and contagious effect on children. So again, the questions for we teachers and parents, do we really wish to change? Do we have intentions and directions to transform ourselves as per the need of time and situations? Do we feel the need to refine our thoughts, feelings, behavior, habits, and tendencies? Here I would like to quote a research work of Dr. Bruce Lipton, a very famous American scientist on the topic biology of belief. Here he mentions that whatever we think, that create vibrations which make a powerful impact on our atmosphere. So how we are going to change? Are we taking good interest in change, or forcefully we are adopting change? Like this time, we all are forced to change, but that force is coming by choice or by any very force. So the results will be different. So lovingly, we have to be ready to change. With this change formula, we will be able to create a passionate and sensitive atmosphere for all. We know as parent and teachers, most of the time we just talk and talk and talk. So our communication is too much with our younger ones. But we know that the only possible way to connect is to communicate. But most of the time, we become casual in our communications and forget to connect before communicate. We must resonate with his being, the very existence of soul. Flow must be there to connect. Here also the best formula is to listen our hearts. Yes, it is true that heart speaks louder than tongue, but it needs silence to listen. And where we have time to be in silence. So we have to create time to be in silence and to listen our hearts first. And we must develop a way to listen to our hearts. Every child understands this language of heart. This is the most beautiful language of this world, which everyone understands. So during my communication skill classes, I just start with this question, which is the most effective language of this world? So most of the time I receive the answers that this is this language, that language. But heart is the language which everyone understands and everyone speaks. Fortunately, we all human beings understand the language of heart. Let it be Indians, let it be Americans, let it be anywhere in the world. We feel same, we understand same, we respond same. So every child understands a different language. This is the responsibility of a parent and a teacher to communicate and connect with them during deep inner silence. So we as educators have a big responsibility. Here I will include parent also as an educator, the first educator for the child. We as educators have a big responsibility to be the stakeholders in the children's future. The coming generation is advancing and they are rejecting ideologies of the past. The only way to bridge this gap is the compassion and love with which we connect with each other. We as parents must wish prayerfully for better versions of ourselves in form of coming generations. Whatever we are, it's okay, but we want better versions of ourselves. Let us put all our efforts together for this wonderful partnership. Grow and glow from within and let our children become the shining stars of tomorrow. This will definitely help the planet to become a beautiful place to live for generations to come. As I got opportunity to spend quality time with children as a parent as well as a teacher also, I can say with confidence that work done with excellence never fails. Let us start working on ourselves first for generations to become more sensitive and compassionate. In the end, I wish to conclude that the world today does not need successful people. This I listened somewhere and I liked it too much that I included this in my paper. So thanks to someone who has mentioned this in any one of the session I listened. In the end, I wish to conclude that the world today does not need successful people. It needs more of happy and loving people. So by establishing a relation of love and faith between the two most important pillars of a child's life, namely parents and teachers, we can definitely look forward to a more emotionally stable and heartful community. With this, I thank everyone for listening my words patiently. Here, I would invite you all, great educators of today, to come forward and experience the words shared here to get the desired results. I would like to get your feedback or any queries based on this topic. In the morning session, Brother Bharat was sharing this quote, and I liked it very much, that if we invest in heart, it will help the head. So we educators have to invest in hearts, be like a parent, be like a teacher, then it will help the head to focus and help the coming generation to grow with a sensitive and compassionate way. Thanks everyone. thank the panels and all this. Again, thank you for this.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anju ma'am. A very heartful presentation. Very true, like you said, yes. Like Daji says, excel in whatever you do. Excel, try to excel at whatever you do. And like you say, the love and the happiness that we share with our colleagues and the students, the world will definitely become a more happy and beautiful, loving place to live in. Thank you so much. You have really very wonderfully touched upon this sensitive topic, this relationship between parents and teachers, and you have painted a wonderful picture about this relationship for all of us. We are immensely grateful to you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Yes. So, audience here, there's a request. In interest of time, I feel that, and I would suggest that we will have the questions and a question and answer session at the end of the panel discussion. So, without wasting much time, we'll move ahead to the panel discussions now, to the panelists. And once again, thank you so much, Disha ma'am and Anju ma'am, for these provoking ideas and thought-provoking ideas. Now, dear friends, let us move on to the panel discussion. And may I take the privilege of introducing our esteemed panelists. We have with us today Nirmala ma'am. So, Nirmala ma'am, you're most welcome. And Nirmala ma'am is a heartfulness trainer. She has done her home science in child development and family relationships from the University of Madras. She is a B.Ed with English and Science, Department of Education, Tamil Nadu. Pre-diploma certificate in French from Alliance Francaise, Chennai. She has an immense experience of 37 years in the field of education, working with 3 esteemed schools, 13 years as a faculty, and she's worked for 20 years as a principal and for 4 years as the head curriculum development and training. She's the founder principal of 2 schools, CBSE school in Chennai, that is the Lalaji Memorial Omega International School, and also the IB Candidacy School in Hyderabad, the Heartfulness Learning Center. She's currently the founder and principal over there. The Heartfulness, she is also helped in developing the Heartfulness value education programs and has conducted around 200 training programs and workshops all over India for more than 15,000 teachers, principals, lecturers, and MEOs. And her skills portray planning and monitoring infrastructural facilities, human and non-human resources, curriculum and training for to be established new schools, which is the need of the hour today. We really need good schools for our children. Her awards and achievements are: she won the Intel National Award for Best Integration of Technology in Schools in the year 2004-2005, while working as a principal at Sri P.S. Mutha Senior Secondary School in Chennai. She was a member of the team which prepared and published the very first BPSC Teachers Manual, that is the Value-Based Education Teachers Manual for grades 6 to 10, 2002, by the Heartfulness Institute. And it has come a very long way. We all are a witness to that. Ma'am, you're most welcome to the panel today. We really welcome you. And I would like to mention here that Mrs. Smita Shirsagar, Smita ma'am, who is our second panelist, she's not been able to join due to some network problems that she's facing at her place. So now I would like to introduce our other panelist, Mrs. Kajal Chatija. Welcome, Kajal ma'am. She is the principal at the Global Talent International School. She is an MA in English, Pune University, a BA from the Pune University, and a BCom. She's done her BCom from the Mumbai University. She too has a very vast experience of 15 years in this teaching profession. She's worked with SSC, CBSE, ICSE, and IGSE schools, many esteemed schools in Pune. She has organized a students' Skype chat with schools in UK, Japan, and Dubai, along with various outreach programs for needy children in slums to teach them basic hygiene and its importance. A very necessary program. Her skills are teaching, engaging young minds, and she is an energetic leader. She has her awards and achievements. No, she's known for her creative and unique teaching methods, which is really a great requirement that we all need to develop in us, each one of us as teachers. Welcome Kajal ma'am and Nirmala ma'am to the panel. So we'll proceed to the
Yes.
questions, the panel questions. Let us begin with the panel discussion. So my first question is for Nirmala ma'am. Uh, it is said that teachers are the torch bearers of a society's path of progress. They have the ability to inspire the right values in students in such a way that they become second nature to the students. So, Nirmala ma'am, would you like to throw some light upon the qualities of a heartful teacher? We have been speaking about a heartful teacher throughout. So, the qualities of a heartful teacher in order to be such a torch bearer
Right.
of the society.
Right. Thank you, Lakshmi. It has been wonderful listening to all the presentations. They were excellent, and I did get some ideas from there. And your question has three components. One is the teacher is the torchbearer. The second is that she has to inspire the students. And for what? To see that they inculcate values. So I would just take up the topic of the torch. What is the purpose of a torch? It is to illuminate the path. Whoever comes there in front, they get the light. But the torch has a battery inside. We normally charge the battery, and only then the torch can shed light. Now, when the teacher is a torch bearer, what is the battery inside her? It is the heart. As Elizabeth Dandy told in the morning, the vibrational heart, pure, unadulterated, filled with potential absolute energy. It is right within us. Unless we charge it, I don't think we'll be able to shed light outside. We charge our batteries in the torch every day whenever we use it. But what about charging ourselves? And it's so simple, as stated in the morning, through the heartfulness way meditation techniques. Okay, the battery is charged inside us. And what is the battery? The vibrational heart in us. It is 1,000 watts, let us say. And it's trying to illuminate. Okay, it's trying to throw light. But the lens in front of the torch is muddied and dirty. What is the point? It has to be cleaned. If the the light has to come out without getting scattered. Full illumination should be there. And the lens there represents our Sukshma Sharir, the mind, the intellect, the consciousness, and the ego. And that is the cleaning process which you may be experiencing tomorrow, whereby the impurities and impressions we have accumulated needs to be cleared and cleaned. Then through that cleared and cleaned lens, the teacher will be able to illuminate the path of the students. So this is the first step for a teacher to see how she gets in, charges herself, and then sheds the light on the students. Can I have the PPT? I just made a 2-slide PPT deck, and this is for the visual learners. I know everybody is not used to listening, all are not auditory. So I thought I'd just have a PPT slide. I request Pooja or Lakshmi to put it on the screen. Yes.
Ma'am, we'll do that.
Yeah, no problem. So the first thing for a teacher to be a torchbearer is to charge the battery in her through the process of meditation. And once the battery is charged, you need to clean your mind, the lens of the torch. So that process is also there in heartfulness, which is a very unique process where you clean away the impressions accumulated over eons of time. And then you're shedding light on the students. And what happens? When anybody is there under the light, automatically the darkness in them is out. And that is what a guru is meant to do. Remove ignorance or darkness and bring in wisdom into the children. So the first step, educators must be meditators. Otherwise, the connection with the heart can never be established. And then, of course, here the roles and the responsibilities you need to play. And we have the Heartfulness guide, Kamlesh T. Patel, who has very beautifully enumerated 12 qualities and roles for a teacher, a heartful teacher. These 12 qualities need to become a habit in us. And once we keep practicing them, it is a culture that we have. Can I have the presentation, Sneha or Lakshmi? Can the screen be shared?
Yes, ma'am, we are doing it. Yes.
Yeah, because it's difficult to remember all the 12 points for the people so that they just absorb it as I'm talking about it. It's on, okay? So there are 12 qualities and the roles, and it all deals with the heart being connected. And once these qualities and roles become a part of us, we mentioned that becomes a culture in anybody. So we have categorized the 12 qualities as 4 cultures, which are very essential for any teacher in a school. The first one would be the personal culture. How should a teacher be? Yeah, teachers as meditators, and this is a beautiful definition by Hyun Jinot, who's from Israel but settled in US. He's a psychotherapist and a psychologist. Teaching is a work of heart, period. Anything that we do has to be from the heart. And that little beautiful diagram of the electromagnetic field that radiates when we are connected to the heart and have positive emotions can influence at least people around us to 5 to 10 feet. And then that in turn has a ripple or cascading effect. So heartful teachers need to connect to their hearts first to be inspired. And what is inspiration? It is a quality of the heart once again. And David Hawkins, in his book Power versus Force, has done a lot of research. And he stated through the experiments using kinesiology that teachers who have positive qualities, or anybody for that matter, okay, he has measured it in a logarithmic scale of 1,000. Imagine a 1,000 watts bulb in us. The highest is enlightenment. You have love, courage, peace, enlightenment. If a teacher has courage, okay, they say she is on a scale of 200. If she has love, she's on a logarithmic scale of 500. And if she can practice peace, she is on a scale of 600. And he says that these teachers, even one teacher, can influence millions of people around. And that's all that we require. We are coming in contact with the students day in and day out, and for so many years. Some of us have taught in the 20th century and also in the 21st century. So thousands of students we have met. And if you have raised the level of consciousness, and this is possible through the process of meditation, consciousness is like a canvas, and in it is the play of the mind, the intellect, and the ego. And through meditation, the mind evolves from thinking to feeling. That is all that we need to be compassionate and loving. The intellect then evolves or gets refined to wisdom. And then the ego from separation gets into integration. We need to live together. And when this happens, the consciousness canvas is so visible, we enhance or expand our consciousness. And that's what David Hawkins is saying. Increase the levels of our consciousness to be there where we can connect to our students. And this consciousness expansion is possible only through meditation. So heartful teachers get inspired because of the expansion of consciousness. And as we expand the consciousness, we can just go up into the sky of super consciousness where the inspiration we have, and also go dive deep into the ocean of subconsciousness where we get the intuitions. So teachers need to be inspired and they should also have intuitions. And now with this as the base, what are the 12 qualities that Daji or Kamleshji Patel, the guide of Global Heartfulness Institute, is enumerated? You can look at, I call it the Dharma Chakra, okay, of a heartful teacher. There are 12 qualities you can see listed. And in the center is a connection with the heart. It is like the axle in a wheel, which is centered, relaxed, and it ensures that there's stability there. Now, what are the qualities? The first three qualities, we call it the personal qualities or the personal culture teacher need to build up. She must be centered and relaxed. And when she's centered, connected to the heart and relaxed, what does she do? She only responds, she does not react. She's calm. Keep cool. That's a terminology Generation Z keeps using nowadays. So she's cool. She's calm. She responds to situation, does not get into anxiety or tension. That is the most important thing when we enter any class. To make the children feel we are just connected and smiling. And the next is positive thinking. I think a lot of research studies have been done on the power of positive thinking. And Theron ma'am also told affirmation is important. Appreciation, thinking wonderful about the children. Each child is unique. They've been born for a particular purpose and they have the potential. So we need to intuitively understand that, connect to our heart, which is the laboratory for us to understand the children, explore about them, and think positively. It is like the optimism or the pessimistic view. Is the glass half full or the glass half empty? Let us always go with the concept the glass is half full. So we accept the children and build upon that. And joyful atmosphere. Again, I think Disha spoke about that. Atmosphere is the feeling that you get when a teacher enters a class or anywhere for that matter. And when we are happy, we are joyful. And when we are connected to the heart, which is an infinite resource of bliss and absolute energy, there is nothing to do but to be joyful. So these three are the personal qualities a teacher should have. And when this is there, students are automatically attracted because the electromagnetic field of the teacher needs to be positive to encompass, to bind and bond these children along with her and take her along with her for the learning process. Next, I have three more qualities or the culture I call it. It'll be the classroom culture. What should she do in the class? Okay, we have the 21st century learning methods, learning technologies, approaches. She must be a facilitator, a delegator, and set up a right environment. Who's a facilitator? One who facilitates learning. It is more nowadays a student-centered learning, we call it. And she has to see that she pairs up the students, allows them to talk, have group discussions in the class, ask them to go within, relax, and also center themselves, introspect, and reflect. So these are the qualities that she must have to ensure the students are engaged. And when they are engaged, they experiment, they elaborate, they explain, and they also evaluate what they are doing. And for doing this, the teacher must be aware of the multiple intelligences which a student will be having, and also the different types of learning styles. And Generation Z, as Terran has rightly stated, generation children, so full of energy. In fact, most often we keep telling they're hyperactive. I think we are hypoactive because we lack the energy to deal with these students. We need to raise the bar and then increase our energy. Like the consciousness, our energy has to go up. So be a facilitator in the class. Children would love it because they are engaged. The new generation children, they're called Z children, from 1996 to 2012-15, those who are born, and all of them are in our classes. They are observing us. They are judging us. They're looking at us. They're witnessing what we are doing. They may be commenting about us, but also imitating and emulating the way we are as role models. We are not playing a role. We need to live the role to be role models. And then delegator. The students nowadays love doing things. Just give them the responsibility. Delegate based on their potential and what they love doing. Right from taking care of the classroom, taking care of the other students as mentors, and also taking care of the school, And also the projects. When they go in for projects, it is nothing but problem-based learning. And when a problem is there, it means the child is identified it because there is an empathy for the person who's facing the problem. And out of that comes the inquiry-based learning. So teachers must know how they have to let go of the control, and participatory way of teaching should be there. So, and then the right environment. What do you mean by the environment? It is the physical, the emotional, the spiritual environment in the class, in the school. Are the student displays there in the class for children to see? Is the seating arrangement okay? Is there enough air, sunlight, ventilation? All this makes the environment, the way the place is. And emotionally, is the child feeling safe, not fearful, but know that the teacher loves them and she can be open-hearted with the teacher. So these three form the classroom culture. Next will be the communication culture. As stated earlier by the previous presenters, the communication is the most important. We need to connect to their hearts and communicate. And we have a lot of things about communication, how to be a heartful communicator. What we say is not important. How we say is important. And do we feel for the children without upsetting them? And whatever we say, does it go to them? Are they absorbing it? And more than that, they need people to listen. With the joint families out and the nuclear families having come in, it is very sad children have nobody to talk to. And with the cell phone culture, parents just don't have time. So let us have the time to listen to children. It's not in the classroom. Allot some time so that children can come to you as mentors. The class can be divided so a number of teachers take up as mentors. Children can pour out what they feel. And how do you listen? In Chinese, they say the word for listening is ting, which means all the faculty has to be involved. Our eyes, our ears, the way we look at them, the body language, and most important, the heart. We need to listen with our hearts to what they say. And then subtle and indirect. This is another aspect of communication. We don't directly bombard a child. If there is indiscipline in the class, they're not indisciplined. Actually, they're naughty. Shall we say that way positively? They have a lot of energy and they keep moving. We need to ensure that we're not directly hitting them. We can firmly tell them that this is what is needed in the class, gently, and I'm sure they will listen to you. And maybe some kinesthetic activities can be in the class to reduce the indiscipline as we think it is. Because 20th century, we teachers and learners always thought of discipline. But Chariji Maharaj, who was one of the global Heartfulness president and leader, he always stated, love can bring in discipline, but discipline cannot bring in love. So these three aspects will be the communication culture, which we need to practice. Even I had to practice a lot because I was in the 20th century as a teacher and also in the 21st century. It does take a lot of time, but habits can be formed. Our brain is so considerate due to neuroplasticity, it can take up whatever we practice often. And the last one is the most important nowadays, the spiritual culture in the class. How do we bring it? We need to evoke love in the students. If we have to evoke love, we should be love personified. And love personification is possible when we are deeply connected to the heart, because love is there. Heart is nothing but love, unconditional universal love. And when we love the students, and as stated earlier, respect them, trust them, understand what they require, and then they automatically will become lovable. We are evoking love in them, so when they go out into the world, they're just going to be love personified, which is the need of the 21st century. Compassion is empathy in action, and they need to be told, not even told, experience that when we are interacting with them. And then a witness, very difficult for us because they've always been told to observe children. That's what teachers are made for, to observe what is happening. But what is a witness? Okay, beautifully, Daji, the Global Heartfulness Guide, has stated, when you're a witness, you're a sakshi, like they say in Bhagavad Gita. What happens to the mental faculties? The mind is no more thinking. Okay, when you're observing, when you're looking at something, I'm using the word observe, but it's witnessing. Your mind is not thinking. Your intellect is silent because intellect always keeps reasoning. And the ego has no place here. We're just watching a phenomenon for what it is. And then later we try to find the cause without judging. No judgment, because what we think may not be the right thing. So let us give the benefit of doubt to the students by witnessing the events that are taking place and then talking to the students and finding out what is it that had happened. No prejudice or judgment. And the last one, catalyst for change. Because we are all here to bring about a change, a transformation, because education is to transform human beings to being human. And that's what we want now. From animalistic behavior, we need to go to human behavior, and then we need to go higher up to be divine human beings. And that, I think, is what all the education systems, all the policies are just putting forth, so that the new generation, the future generation, are transformed human beings because of what we as teachers are role modeling to them. I think these will be the qualities, Lakshmi, as you wanted. It's a tall order, but as we keep practicing and doing, and I know with the COVID situation, teachers are under great stress. We all understand, but it does not matter. We have the resilience. We have got into the profession only because we love children. We love the subject and we want to do something for them. So nature will take care of us. In the heartfulness meditation, we connect to the hearts and all the answers will spring from within, including 24 hours, infinite energy to do all that we want. Lakshmi, I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, absolutely.
Automatically, the values get imbibed when we are that. Yes.
Yes, yes, Nirmala ma'am. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. I'm sure you have set the Dharma Chakra of the heartful teacher moving, and each word, uh, I mean, it was, I think we all, it has set us, all of us thinking, introspecting, contemplating that, yes, what is it that is missing in me as an individual, as a teacher, as a, uh, a profession. This is a profession which is nurturing the future generations. So, these very, very valuable and deep insights that you have given into what Daji has shared with all of us. Uh, we are really heartfelt gratitude to you for that, this
Thank you for giving the opportunity.
short and very valuable presentation that you have made. And really, I mean, I feel every one of you is aligned here today, miles apart. Terran ma'am, you, all those who have presented the papers, each one has carried a string throughout about joy, happiness, heartfulness. So it's come out very wonderfully.
And
And
one
I
little
really
quote,
hope and I'm sure. Yes,
one
ma'am.
little quote I just forgot. Timothy Kendall, he's written a book called Heart, and that he mentions, have you left a heart print in the minds of the students or in the heart of the students? A beautiful word coined in the 21st century, heart print. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We are all listening to you with the thing. So, I mean, and I really hope that the NEP that is being, planned to for implementation in India may be truly aligned with all these great thoughts that we have been listening to throughout since the beginning. So that brings us to the next question, which is for Kajal ma'am. Uh, as the quote goes, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, he says, educationists should build the capacities of the spirit of inquiry, creativity, entrepreneurial and moral leadership among students and become their role model. So when we take a closer look at the NEP 2020, we can see that it has been designed keeping all these aspects in mind. So Kajal ma'am, in your view, how will the role of a teacher change with this implementation of this new policy? So over to Kajal ma'am. Thank you.
No,
Kajal ma'am, I guess.
it's in mute, I think.
Yes.
Just
Have you
check.
unmuted? You
Yeah.
requested
Am
to
I
unmute.
audible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
So,
yes, yes.
good evening, one and all.
Good
And being coming towards the end, I carry a bigger responsibility to keep everybody alive. And I must say, people, those who are watching us, they are wonderful listeners. And I will be, engaging all the people, those who are watching us, maybe on YouTube or Facebook, to keep the chat box very, very alive and have a cup of tea. It's okay, or a coffee. Okay. So coming back to the question, keeping NEP 2020 and the quote which you had quoted, by APJ Abdul Kalam, and all the, the adjectives which were there, all these adjectives are taken care in our NEP 2020. If our educators have read, this document. So first thing first, I'll start that I request all the teachers to read NEP at least once, so that it becomes easy for everybody to, like, when we think of implementing it, of course from the coming session we'll implement. So I am looking at it from section wise. Okay, as you might be knowing now, everybody might have, that diagram which is there right from the foundational year to the higher secondary. So let's correlate that right from foundational years and we'll take it to grade 12th. So how it is, see, it will, of course, it will enhance the spirit of inquiry, creativity, entrepreneurial and moral leadership among students. And how now we are looking at ECCE. When I talk about ECCE, is early childhood care and education. Now our teachers are allowed to teach in either in regional, state, and having multilingual approach in the classroom, making class a very, very dynamic place. So when a classroom becomes dynamic, so of course teacher has to be super duper dynamic, isn't it? As Terin ma'am said, that see, she's still learning and she has done a wonderful job. So ma'am, a bouquet clap for Terin ma'am. The way she presented, it was beautiful. It was wonderful, ma'am. And now, see, from foundational stage, we need to focus. Teachers have to focus on literacy and numeracy, fluency. I'm taking it, Lakshmi ma'am, I'm taking it that way. Okay. And we'll graduate with this policy. And we'll also address teachers. Okay. So coming to, preparatory stage, that is from grade 3 to grade 5. Over here, learning has to be inquiry based. It has to be interactive. And teachers keep writing all these, adjectives which I am putting in. Creative and apply innovative methods. Over here I'm also reminding, our educators, that these days you might have to make several videos. All your principals must be, after your life you have to make a short 10 minutes video. So I'm telling you, there are various apps available on Google and Play Store, where you can use augmented reality and bring in that creature live. You can bring in elephant, any creature, while you're teaching. So you will all explore once. It's just a click away. Arpola is the name of the app, so you can, explore. Terin ma'am, you can also explore this. While you're talking, you can, bring in one live creature along with you, or an elephant, or maybe a horse or a lion. So we need to be very, very creative at the same time along with our learners. And at times our learners will teach us. If we tell them that, yes, I'm not, able to make a video, our children, we are, by the way, we are catering to 21st century learners. So they have reached beyond our imagination already. So we have to change with the change. As in one of the presentation I really liked, I'm using it. I think it was in Anju ma'am's presentation, uh, where it was replaced, change was replaced with chance. So let's take this. It was wonderful. I just loved it. Okay, take this as a chance. Take it, this, accept this change, so that it brings, inner happiness. And once we are happy, for sure, it is going to transform. It is the time of transformation, I must say. So, and there is one quote I want to, use: stop teaching, start transforming. And nobody can teach anything, by the way. It is just, we are here to, uncover learning. Everybody is expert in their various field. We are here, we teachers are here, to, you can say, unleash this talent which is already there in them. So here our teachers, our educators have a big role to play, being a moral support, like a rock solid, like, yes, child, I'm there with you, that way. And bring in new energy in your class every day. Give some, valuable, I'll tell you, sell dreams to your children every day. Right, it's not necessary that 40 minutes of the class you only have to teach. By the end of the day they are going to learn. First 5 minutes, have live talk, understand your learners, connect with their hearts, then you see. And you might you I'll tell you I'll give you one example. Many a times the same set of children behave differently with different teachers.
Yes.
If you all agree, please put a yes over there. That, and they all say, ma'am, how they behave, this way with you, and they are all different with us, and they don't, they scribble, and they always do all that things. So you all agree with me, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
And be happy. To spread the happiness is what I want to convey at this stage and every stage. Now let's grow, and with gradual, we are climbing the ladder of NEP. Now let's we have reached at the middle stage, from grade 6 to 8. We all know that there will be vocational courses from the coming year, right? And there is no hard, you can say, separation in the subjects. They have lot of liberty to select subject. It's, and how it will be, their baggage, weight is going to reduce. There will be 10 bagless days. So I'm just rewinding. I'm just giving you all what I have not learned, you can say. I have what I have read in the NEP, and then now the time will come when we have to actually implement it. So now is the time our teachers, educators, along with leaders, okay, we also have to upgrade ourselves with any of the vocational course, may it be coding, robotics, it could be anything, carpentry, making these videos, making these mobile apps, chota mobile apps, whichever, like, it depends upon your interest, what suits you. um, it could be anything. So teacher can select any one vocational course for this time, and should make a, you can say, timeline, a goal setting. Okay, in this 3 months I'm going to upgrade myself, and I'll learn one, maybe one mobile app, or maybe I'll get expertise in making videos, for example, to teach my concept. It could be one. I'm just giving you one example. So over here again, teacher has to be very futuristic to connect with the 24, 21, 21st century learners. That is what I want to tell all our teachers. And now we are coming to the fourth stage, which is you can say higher secondary one, from grade 9th to grade 12th. Over there, how it is, we are saying that there'll be no board exams, there'll be like one in 10th and one in 12th, that way it's. And the course will be 4 years integrated course. They will get a lot of, you can say, they'll be allowed to choose their subjects. It could be English with maths, or science with humanities, any which way, depending upon the child's interest. But at the same time, if we leaders, okay, we don't have many teachers to cater to these subjects, then again it will be a difficult task. This is, at the same time, we need to reflect and understand school's position, institute's position. When we offer so many subjects, are we having enough equipped teachers to teach? That's also a big question mark. It's the time of self reflection, what we can and what we can't, and what we can in future, that way. So it's absolute time of taking this change as a chance. Anju ma'am, I'm using it again, thank you. And then see, now I am giving you, everybody over here, just put one thought. Go back in the month of March, okay, when this corona situation started. 6 months, right? I'll tell you from my own experience, as ma'am was introducing, I have 15 years of experience. Whatever I have learned related to technology, maximum I can tell you 90% I have learned in this 6 months. And I can guarantee it is same with everybody. We learned, and now we are expert in one thing, at least making PPTs, presentation. We can make wonderful presentations. One present, and being a leader, we are always expert in presenting. That is one. Now we don't want our admin staff to make a presentation for us, right? So that is one for sure. Having live sessions, being comfortable at the same time, connecting with people, heart to heart talk. Agree? Put a thumbs up if you all agree, right? Yes. So our future generation will be highly skilled, I must tell you. It will be wonderful, both the sides. It will be like educators and students. We are moving towards a new world, towards a new nation altogether. So, and at the same time, a big role here teacher also has to imbibe, these values. How a child is, when we nurture the child, it's natural, right? Nobody teaches mother tongue. We learn on our own. So make it a natural process, make it a religious activity, I must tell you. And over here, I'll tell all the teachers who are listening, and even leaders, it's related to everybody. See, so teachers, it is the time to enhance, upgrade, plan, create, invent, execute, and towards the end, very, very important, celebrate teaching and learning process. Celebrate this time, okay? And have that joy, unlimited. And over here, if you have read about the theory of, Elvin Toffler, he says like, be ready to learn, unlearn, and relearn. So becoming change ready. So that's what I wanted to, connect NEP 2020 to the current scenario, imbibing values.
Thank you, Kajal ma'am. A very dynamic answer you have really put forth, and you've connected all the points right from the first presentation that was done today to your own points. And you've really put forth the NEP wonderfully. Very there's an assurance now for all of us how really it is in alignment with the heartful qualities that Nirmala ma'am just spoke about. The being present, being dynamic, being there. What Taran ma'am said, what Anju ma'am said, what Disha, the way now you all have poured in your the points that you've brought up today. And truly, as you say, stop teaching and begin to transform. And to transform the person in front, we need to transform ourselves first. That is that goes without saying. Yes, yes. So
There's one more question.
yes, and like it, yes.
No question for me, right?
So that is what, like you said, this Corona situation has really, it is an opportunity for us to change. Let us take it as a chance, like Anju ma'am said in her presentation, and let us really cater, try and improvise ourselves to a level where we can really cater to the needs of our 21st generation, new children, beautifully termed by Terran ma'am, the new children. And I'm sure you all hear the panelists, the presenters, keynote address speaker that we have today, you all really have all those 12 heartful qualities that Dari has spoken about in all of you. And really, they have, I hope they have brushed on to all of us listening to you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Then I think here we need to take the question and answer. The audience has been
I just want to
waiting
cover
for a very
a
long
little
time.
part, ma'am.
Yes,
I
yes.
just want to cover, if I have 2 more
Yes.
minutes, is it okay?
Please go ahead.
See,
Yes, please go ahead.
as we were talking about imbibing values in children, okay? So every institution, every college, even in the family, there are set of core values which we try to imbibe. When you go to an institution, it always there is a board which talks about core values 5, 6, 7, 8. So every educator must understand and read the mission and vision of the school, which is very, very important. They should be thorough with it along. Even our children, in whichever school they are, it's very important for a child to know the mission and vision of the school in which they are studying, which is very important. And once the vision is clear, for example, I'm serving XYZ management, okay, their core values, I know it. That's how I can translate, I can connect to their, and I am linking this with our lesson planning as well, very importantly towards the end. Like as I told you, I'll take 2 minutes. So all the educators, when you plan your lesson, remember, empower your lesson plan at least with one value. It could be love, it could be compassion, it could be understanding, it could be so many. So I'll just give you a few examples. Like when we learn like when we learn a language, why do we learn? To connect with people, to touch their hearts, understanding, respect each other's opinion, and express gratitude. And you can say we can have cooperative learning also at the same time, and having multilingual approach in the classroom. When we learn a subject called, like, science, in every you can say textbook, maybe 3, 4, 5, for example, there are lessons on life cycles. Maybe life cycle of a butterfly, it could be any creature. Even we can relate with our own life cycle. There are different phases, they can connect with themselves. And this is the time to enjoy every phase. We've become so productive, we've become so, we are enjoying, in fact, we saving so much of time. And actually now, in this phase, the world has become very small. Otherwise, I would have never met Nirmala ma'am, Anju ma'am, Disha ma'am, Tiren ma'am, Lakshmi ma'am, and all wonderful fellow members from Heartfulness to connect our hearts. कब मिलते थे नहीं तो हम लोग. It's because of this, isn't it? And when we teach history, for example, so we can tell our children we all are historians, okay? हम सब हिस्टोरियंस हैं, एंड वी आर गोइंग टू लर्न फ्रॉम आवर एंसेस्टर्स. उनने बहुत सारी मिस्टेक्स की है, हम मिस्टेक्स नहीं दोहराएंगे. वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू for Terran man, I'm translating it, that we are not going to repeat the mistakes our ancestors have done in history, okay? So we are here to learn from them. When we learn geography, we have geographers, researchers, archaeologists, we have so many terms to quote, isn't it? So enjoy, explore, and be happy that we are a part of the nature. And if we are alive in this situation, then there has to be a very big role which we have to play right now. If अगर हम जिंदा है तो जरूर कुछ है हम में जो हमको अभी वो पार्ट प्ले करना है. We have to play that part. Yes. We should never forget, isn't it? Very true. And happiness is all about, like, what we think now, we become tomorrow. There's a, like, lot of powers in our beliefs, what we believe. I'm sharing a dream with all the educators. Have that value, that believe in you, कि हाँ मैं कल प्रिंसिपल बनूंगी, कि हाँ मैं कल डायरेक्टर बनूंगी. I'll become something in life. I'll become a great teacher. It could be anything from your, I've done this, I'm telling you, I've climbed my the ladder of success from being a co-teacher. I'm telling you from my experience, though I look very young, and I am also young, okay?
So are all of us, Kajal. So are all of us. Thank you.
So,
We all are young. Yes.
Think big, and have dreams. And I'm telling you, trust me, you will be, and watch dreams with your open eyes. Dreams are not going to let you sleep, by the way. आप जब सपना देखते हो तो वो आपको सोने नहीं देगा. And your beliefs, your thoughts have infinite power. Believe in yourself, believe in helping chain. Help करते रहो. It will multiply. We always say, if you remember, हम हमेशा बोलते हैं कि अच्छा करो okay, बुरा करोगे तो बुरा होगा, अच्छा करोगे तो अच्छा होगा. It's if you will do good, you are going to get back right now with double quantity. Vice versa, bad. If you will do bad, you are going to get with double quantity right now. So we are in the world of super duper. You can say there's a lot of intensity in it. बहुत जल्दी जल्दी सब कुछ हो रहा है. So understand this. You can say race. And towards the end, as Bapuji said, that yes, in a very gentle way, we can shake the world. And happiness is what you think, what you say, and what you do are in harmony.
Very true. Very true.
Yes.
You were contagious, Kajal.
Thank you. As I told you, I have a very big responsibility to give that, to shake the audience that way. So I hope I
You
did
have
that.
done it. You have done it.
Yes, you have very successfully, absolutely shaken the
All
audience.
pyara sa pinch, you can
And
say.
no, now you have said we all are here to dream with eyes open, move ahead, celebrate teaching, celebrate learning. Yes, rightly said. Teaching and learning both should be a celebration. That is how we have to go ahead dynamically, at the same time in a very gentle way. And that the way you brought out the connection at each level, right from first grade to the teenagers. Yes, we are going ahead, moving ahead, and trying to handhold and take ahead the next generation who are wiser than us, the new children. Like Daji has very rightly said that the children born before 2003 and after 2003, there's a vast, humongous, shift in this generation, which we need to cater to. We have to upgrade ourselves, make ourselves more and more dynamic to cater to their requirements, to their learning needs. Yes, I guess we are learning a lot from them. To tell the truth, that is what I really feel. They I mean, we feel very humble in front of this next generation. So thank you so much. Those were very great inputs from each one of you. Uh, all young hearts and youngsters. Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you, Kajal ma'am. And maybe move ahead to one or two questions from the audience. So here is a very wonderful question from Swapan Kumar Chakrabarti. How to inspire the first generation learners? I feel this needs to be addressed where lots of patience is required. So, who would like to, of the panelists would like to?
Ma'am, you'll repeat the question, ma'am?
Yeah.
You'll
I will
repeat the
repeat
question?
for you. How to address the first generation learners?
Okay.
How to take them ahead?
May
The
I?
first gen, how to inspire them? The
Um,
first generation
Yes,
learners.
Kajal, you can.
yeah. Ma'am, it is like giving them giving them a chance that yes, they are skilled more than us. See, when we understand and have that buddiness, like we educators at the time, we have to share that friendly relations with our educators. And let's forget this, like teacher ko sab aata hai, educator knows everything. Now is the time, actual time, to learn from our 21st century learners.
Yes.
It is the time has come where we are exchanging knowledge. It is like a knowledge exchange program between the educator and the learner. So once we have that perfect jugalbandi, we are ready to address 21st century learners, open to learn. We are lifelong learners. Once we understand that, this journey will become very easy for all of us.
Yes. Very true.
Thank you. Thank you. Very true.
Whichever
Yes. So here is a question for Nirmala ma'am, which is
Yes.
how to guide gifted students in developing empathy and respect.
Difficult
I
students.
repeat,
Ah.
how to guide gifted students in developing empathy and respect.
I think the most important thing is for us to recognize that they are gifted. Okay? They are capable of much more. So all that we need to do is accept the fact that they are very high IQ. Okay? and then talk to them heart to heart and tell them they'll be alone in the world if they're not going to interact with the rest and also have compassion and sympathy for others. Basically, all of us are born with values. When children are born, nobody teaches them. Somebody falls, they go immediately. Somebody wants something, they do it immediately. It is there in us, inherent. Later on, I think the parents and the schools build up the fact you're highly intelligent, you're too intelligent, and we set them aside. We need to integrate them, tell them you have a talent, you have a potential, but that has to be used so that it can help others also. What is the point of me being great when I'm going to be all alone on top of the mountain without anybody? So it's necessary for the teacher to talk to these gifted children. Basically, their hearts are the same. They're so gifted because the minds have started racing ahead. But we can help them through the process of meditation, if they're already 15, or maybe the relaxation in the lower level. Connection to the heart will make them come down to being humble. Humility is one of the basic things that are needed, and that will happen as you keep meditating. The ego comes down and becomes humble. And it's not their fault. I think the society has built it up through competitions and appreciating only them for what they are, the high level giftedness, but not the rest of the qualities. Right? I think we need to change track to ensure that they also become empathetic through different ways. I'm sure it's easy to do that. They're gifted, no doubt, but they also have a heart.
Yes. Gifted in minds, gifted in hearts.
Yes.
So that would be a wonderful and balanced condition for this.
Yes.
There's one more question. It is about the NEP. The NEP, in the NEP, it is mentioned that teachers need to get more B.Ed course for 2 years. Please throw some light on the same. So this requirement of NEP.
See, ma'am, as NEP says that the B.Ed degree which is of 2 years will become 4 years.
Yes.
But it is not going to happen immediately next year. It also says that they will give us time till 2030. Okay.
Yes.
We have time, and there's no need to panic, because it they as you will all see, including like right from our PM, our nation's PM Narendra Modi ji, our education ministry, everybody has started deliberating, talking about education, and what we have done in this 6 months, we have never done it.
Yes.
So we have like, so the way these talks, every day I must tell you that there are hundreds of panel discussions going on. So I'm very sure a lot of structure will be in place right from nursery to grade 12th, in fact, which will bring in lot of clarity for our teachers. Of course, there'll be 4 years integrated program, and there'll be 50 hours of,
In
you can say
service.
these sessions, training sessions, which will, uh, again, these sessions will be conducted by trained people from CBSE. It will not be done by the school leader. Even I'll tell you, the accreditation process, the affiliation process, a different body is going to come, where leaders will all get time to focus on curriculum and
Exactly.
teachers and children, which is a, you can say, move to celebrate. Otherwise,
Yes.
every leader spends 70% of her time in administration, collecting fees and giving reminders, dealing, parents and much more.
Yes. Very true. Very true.
Ma'am, you have to
Not
unmute.
bad. You have to unmute Lakshmi.
Lakshmi ma'am, unmute.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. You have really reassured everyone. And okay, we'll move ahead. There is one more question. What about schools where there are no teachers, in the interiors of India, where there is no light or internet sources? This is a situation very I mean, a lot we face this in India. How to teach or reach out to these children who are living in these remote places without light or internet sources? This is a question by Mr. Pankaj Tardeja. So, panelists, please.
I think the help of NGOs can be taken for this. A number of NGOs are there. And Teach India movement is also there. You can get into the net and check out who will be willing to come over, contribute. And the best thing would be to take up people, the students who are there, or adults who are educated, to spare some time to educate these children.
Yes,
It's
yes.
possible by making it as a movement and taking the help of people around. It can be done. It
So
should
we
be done and
require,
it can be done. They're paying. Yes, they're paying attention to the village schools also. They are paying attention.
so we need more heartful and
Yes,
willing volunteers who
yes,
come ahead, who have a feeling for these
that's it. That's all.
can move ahead. Thank
Yes,
you, ma'am. Thank you so much. There's a very important one more by Mr. Pankaj Tardeja. How do you have education about how to have education about society in adolescent students apart from routine studies? This is specifically for the adolescent age. Like nowadays, so much antisocial activities are going on. The media, we know, it's everywhere. There is lots of exposure to these antisocial activities going on. So how are we supposed to deal with this? How can teachers deal with this? How can they influence the students in this
So,
regard?
for this, ma'am, the deliberations have already started. In every school there are various committees, when we talk about educating a girl child, right to education, and various other committees to stop bullying. And these committees are already there. And CBSE, even when we talk about when we want our CBSE affiliation, in that document also these committees have, they have to be very very active in a school to educate our children. And it is a mandatory fact for a school to have such you can say sessions for the children, to educate them at the adolescent age. And even like having a separate sessions for girls and boys, and even when they are growing and touching at various aspects that change in their body structure. So there are various sessions which are to be conducted by specialists, which is a mandate in a school, which are there, ma'am. And of course if we are not doing, then it is a time to realize, and it's need of the hour to stop all this. And we educators have a bigger role to play over there to
yes.
deliberate such education. And in India, in fact, I must say that from grade 6 onwards we must have lessons in the textbook itself. It should become
Yes,
an
Uh,
integral part of their curriculum.
yes,
So in biology there are, but it is not covered fully. So I hope this NEP will bring all these changes.
yeah,
It's a visionary document.
yeah.
Within
yes.
this.
And Heartfulness has that Wow to Wow program,
Yeah.
the Union of Hearts,
Yes.
Divya Janani program. So they do it on a volunteer basis. If any school is interested, I'm sure they'll be able to organize it in some way for
Yes.
these adolescent people.
Yeah.
We have the wellness programs going on. They can be integrated, I'm sure.
True. True.
So, rightly said by both of you, ma'am, because this is a responsibility that we all have to look into. And like you said, Kajal, ma'am, I mean, more and communities from the society should come ahead. And here I would like to say that Mr. Tadreja, Pankaj Tadreja, he is a pediatrician. So, from UAE. So, it is already touching different communities and different parts of the society.
Wonderful.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
There's one more question from M. Srikar. Kajal ma'am, when multi-subjects options, so options for multi-subjects are given for children in the NEP, then how can they choose a specific direction? Won't it create more confusion with more options?
Yeah. See, over here, there's a very big role when children reach to ninth and 10th, and then where they have to select. So there has to be a lot of career guidance. Career counseling has to be done, for the children so that they realize. Because many a times children, when they reach to grade 12, still they are not clear what exactly they have to do. And which is not a new situation. What is we have to do at this time, like when they reach to grade 6, there itself, like we say it, nip it in the bud, where we should start analyzing what child is meant for, what is child good at. Okay, he's very good at maths, okay, he's excellent in literature and language, involving them in various you can say activities, where we get to know what is child known for. Where, see, I am, you can say, in my 40s, and now I have realized that I have a love for literature, where I never realized. So still we are exploring ourselves, wherein it is too early for the children, but here teachers can definitely do it through these activities. As when we look at the annual calendar of the school, we have to conduct various activities depending about scholastic and non-scholastic, where we get to know this bunch of children is excellent in art, this bunch of children excellent in English activities, and that's how we do it on rotational basis. So it could be like, we can, you can say, guide our children very easily on that part.
So it's the this is a greater responsibility on parents, career counselors, and of course teachers. So everyone connected with the student has to be more aware, individualistically. Very true. Yes, thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. There is a question by M. Srikar again. During this pandemic situation, how well assessment tools can be implemented effectively? So in this situation, with the distance, with the virtual classrooms, how effectively can these tools be used? Can you please throw light on this, Teran ma'am? Teran ma'am, this is a question directed to you. Please take it.
You're on
Do you
mute.
want me to repeat it?
A bit of the question. I heard about the pandemic, but what is the question? How can what be addressed?
Yes, I will repeat it again.
Yes.
During this situation, the pandemic, how well the assessment tools that we have as educators, how can they be implemented effectively? Since it's a virtual and distance learning now, no
Well,
physical.
yeah. So this may. Okay, thank you. I think I got it. This may be a chance for us to look at our assessment tools.
Yes, yes.
And wonder if maybe something new is being called for. We can't do exactly the same kind of exams with children at home. So, and I don't have a specific answer, except that maybe we can look more functionally, not so much how do they, ask them to do projects and look at their project, or ask them to do some real life activity that's related and see how well they do with it. And rather than having a pass and a fail, I know we have to do that at some point, but rather than having a pass and a fail, have a feedback system where you can make suggestions for them. Well, maybe this, if you had done this, it could have gone a little better there. So that it's a whole different idea of assessment. It's not like a judgment. It's like a guidance tool. Where can you improve a little bit? Where do you shine? So let's all brainstorm and think of some ways that this could be done differently. So I don't know, in the immediate situation, I don't know how practical that will be, but I think it just could be that life is bringing us a chance to look at our assessment tools.
Very rightly said, ma'am. Thank you so much. Yes, it is. Uh, we need to think differently and contemplate a lot on how we can actually utilize this situation and be more creative, and become learners before we start facilitating or transforming, like ma'am rightly said. Thank you. So here we would stop taking the questions. Yes, there have been interesting presentations, very interesting questions. The audience has been amazing. Thank you, dear friends out there in the audience. And I'm sure each heart here has truly benefited to the core. This has really set a new thought process rolling from here, and a change has definitely set in the mind, a thought process of each mind around. So, I mean, right from where the role of a teacher, the ideal role of a heartful teacher, to the present COVID situation, and to the future, that is the implementation of the NEP, the aspects of the past, the present, the now and the future has been beautifully touched and uh, addressed by each one of you over here. Thank you so much to all of you. It's been a wonderful session and wonderful interacting with all of you. And like ma'am said, it's truly been a celebration to connect with all of you today. And this celebration is going to continue. It's not only for here and now, it's for each and every moment that we carry in our hearts, connected heartfully with each other, and many more, those who cannot see, but I know we are reaching out to thousands of people, and all of us are celebrating this with us. So here I would say this would be the end of today's session, and audience and all the panelists, you're most welcome for tomorrow's session, which will begin at 10 o'clock. The topic for tomorrow's session is collaboration between parents and teachers for positive outcomes. So what Anju ma'am has presented, it is going to be carried forward and it will be deeply looked into tomorrow by the panelists, by the presenters, and everyone. So, all of you, we really hope that you all will join with more, and more of you will join to connect again tomorrow, 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock. Also, along with that session, we will be having a rejuvenation. Yes, Nirmala ma'am. The rejuvenation technique of heartfulness.
Who's not yet a teacher but spoke so wonderfully, Disha.
Yes.
Right.
Thank you. And we will also
Thank
have,
you,
like
ma'am.
I was saying, we will have the rejuvenation technique. We'll be introduced to that technique, which is a very, very important technique. So we really welcome all of you, invite all of you to attend the session and experience the technique along with the great esteemed guests that we have tomorrow. So thank you, everyone. Thank you once again. Heartfelt gratitude for being here with us and interacting with us. Thank you. So
Thank you, Lakshmi.
over to the host. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
And you were a wonderful moderator, I must say.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Weaved the entire
Thank you.
Yes. That matters.
Thank you.
Also.
That's really encouraging.
That matters.
Thank
also.
you, Nirmala ma'am. Thank you.
pearl string, it came out beautifully.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much.